Do you want to have a little more fun with your design software, creating projects that aren't just square, but have nice little organic shapes to it? In this video, I'm going to teach you how to think like that in your CNC router design software. idcwoodcraft.com. I'm Garrett with idcwoodcraft, the company that you get your CNC router bits from. In this video, I want to show you how easy it is to take basic projects and just add a little bit of stuff to them to give them real uniqueness and flair that is unique to you. For example, this Home Sweet Home sign, which is a basic rectangle. But you can see I've added some nice curves to it and just made this look very unique. So in this video, I'm going to show you how easy it really is to modify design shapes like this very quickly so that you can make this project very unique to you. I'm going to work through 3 different projects in this video to teach you how to do this. The first one we're going to work on is this card holder. You can see it's a basic rectangle, but it's got a nice arc to it at the top and it's rounded out. I'll show you how to do that. The second one will be this Home Sweet Home sign where we'll add all these little rounded features to make it look nice. The third will be this marble maze where it's basically a square. It's like that, flat, and then it's rounded here, and we have radiuses here. Super quick. It took me less than a minute to make that shape. And I'm going to show you how easy this really is. I'm going to get up to my computer in my office, and we are going to get into my software. And you're going to be very surprised. Hey, in this video, if you found something useful, please take a minute to comment down below or something that you do to augment the shapes of your projects to make them look unique to you. All right, let's get to the computer. I'm at my computer now and I'm going to show you how easy it is to actually create different shapes from basic shapes in your designs to give them that nice organic feel. And we're going to start off with this game piece card holder that I made for my niece, Isabel. This is what we call a legacy gift. My niece, she had brain cancer when she was 6, and they took a chunk of her brain out, and that made it so she can't use one of her hands. But our family plays lots of games, so I wanted to make something for her that she would enjoy playing the games even better, and that's what this is for. And this file, by the way, is available to you if you want it. I'll link this down in the description. But we're going to start off with this one right here. Very basic, easy, quick shape to modify. Now you can do this with any design software. So this is kind of cool. It's very easy to do. So let's get in here. Here is my basic project in the Vectric software. And this is based on the actual size of the material that I used to make the card holder. So this is 24 inches wide by 8 inches tall. And we're going to start off with a basic rectangle since this project is essentially a rectangle with a rounded top on it and rounded corners. So we're going to go into the Create Vectors section to draw a rectangle. Select that, and we're going to make our anchor point to the middle. We're not going to worry about anything else here, but I am going to worry about this little corner type here. We can make the corners square like that. You can see that little line there, and then we have radius external. When I click that, you can see it's rounded that way, and then radius internal. When I click that, you can see it rounds in. We're going to go to the radius external. And if you don't have the radius tool, I'm going to show you how to work with that. But if you have that, we're just going to make that 1 inch radius and simply click the create button. And you're going to see that we are going to have a rectangle. Oops, I got to change the size. So I made a mistake. I'm going to hit Control and Z, and that will undo your last move. I got to change it to the board size. So we're going to go to width and make that 17, and the height is going to be 7, which is the actual size of this project. Click Create, and there we go. Now we've got the basic shape there. Now what if you don't have this radius feature in your software? Well, I'm going to show you how to do that. You want to find a fillet tool or a radius tool. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to undo this. Hit Control Z, and let's just say your rectangle tool is only square rectangle. So I'm going to switch that back to square and click Create again. Now we have that square rectangle. We're going to close that, and I'm going to go to the Edit Objects button or area right here and come down to this icon right here. When you hover over it, it says Fillet. Select that, and in the Vectric software you want it to be normal fillet, and when you come up to the radius, we're going to put in 1 and simply hover over the corner here and click, and you see we have that 1-inch radius. So that's all I need to do. I don't need to radius the top because we're going to do this stuff right here, and then we'll radius the corners. So watch this. 5 minutes, we're going to be done with this, if that. So I'm going to come in here, I'm going to close the radius tool, and we're going to use a tool called Arc tool. So we're going to come up to the create vectors area, and in the second row, this is where we create the open vectors. Closed vectors are these guys right here. Basically what a closed vector is if you run your finger all the way around it, there technically is no end. Same with the rectangle there is no end. But here in the open vectors, there's a start point and there is an end point. So we're going to go to the Arc tool and select the through 3 points section, not the one where we're working off of a center point. I went through 3 points. I'm going to come over here, and first of all, you want to make sure that your snap functions are turned on. That's these two guys right here. Snap allows the line points to actually grab other areas of the project. For example, watch my cursor right now. I'm right next to the line, and as I get close to it, you see that changed. It's got that arc thing above the cursor, and then when I moved close to the line, it just turns into a dot. It has grabbed the line. If the snaps are turned off, which I'm going to come back up here and just click them off, they're grayed out, that means they're turned off. Now we come back into this line here, you can see it's not changing, it's not grabbing. So we want that turned on. I'm going to go back up and turn those back on, and we're simply going to come over until it grabs that line. And I'm going to grab it anywhere, and I'm going to click. And so now we have grabbed the line, and I'm going to come across. Now I want it to be horizontal. So you can see the dashed lines that are being created all the way across the screen. When I move down, they go away. That's telling me that it is going to draw it horizontally right across it exactly as I want, and I'm going to bring that all the way over until it snaps to the other line. I'm going to click, and now we can create this arc. Now I just want a nice gentle arc about like that. And I think that will do it. And click my left mouse button, and there we go. But now we're going to close the arc command. Now I want this arc to come up and touch the top of the rectangle, because I got to take full advantage of that rectangle. So we're going to use the move function. There's 2 ways you can get to the move function. You're going to learn a shortcut key here. The first way is come over to transform objects and select this first icon which says move selected objects. So the arc is the selected object, and we can click that and go into the move command, or you can just click the letter M on your keyboard and we'll go into the move command, and you'll see when I click M in the left, you'll see that we go into the move function. Here we go, and there we are in the move selection. Now that that is selected, I'm going to come over and I'm going to move my cursor up to the center point of that line. Now you see how my cursor looks there. It actually has this plus with like a diagonal arrow going through it. It also has those 2 little arrows that are going up, down, left, and right. Now watch what happens when I move off that, and it just comes over here. Basically what's happening is it's just grabbing any point on that arc when I'm over here, but when I'm in the middle, it's using or taking advantage of the snap function. That's what I want to do. So I'm going to, right there, I'm going to hold my left mouse button down and just drag this arc up until it snaps right onto the top of the rectangle, just like that. And then we'll let that go. We're going to close that. Now you can see the arc has moved up. And all we have to do is just trim away these 2 upper corners. And you do that by going to Edit Objects, get the little scissors, which is the interactive trim. Click that. Make sure that this little check box is checked so that your vectors rejoin. And we're going to hover over that corner right there. Click that, and then close. And now all we have to do is put our 1-inch radius on the top right here, and we will be ready to go. So let's take care of that. We go back to Edit Objects, go back to the Radius command or Fillet command, select that. We are still on normal radius. We have a 1-inch fillet. Click there and click there, and voila, we have that shape created, this exact shape right here. That's how fast that is. So now with that, we are going to move on to this shape right here. Before we do, I just want to say, hey, if you're looking for some CNC router bits to take care of some stuff like creating the rounded edges like that, a round over bit, or the type of bit that we use to make that pocket there, basically a ball cut, ball nose end mill, or to create these really fine detail relief carves. You get the taper ball nose bits. You can drop by idcwoodcraft.com to get your CNC router bits. Got a ton of resources there as well. And your router bit databases, they are available at idcwoodcraft.com. You just go to the top of the website. It says database downloads. Click there and you can get your database. You can get the entire database for the Vectric software. All right, so let's go on to this, not just Vectric, but the other ones. We're going to get onto this shape right here. Just want to remind you, if you want this file, it is available to you. Instructions, G-code, I've given you everything. Tells you exactly how to run this part, this type of material you need, or the size of material. It's a really fun project to make, and it makes for a really nice legacy gift. So very happy with this one. It was actually one of my most challenging projects. All right, so let's get into the Home Sweet Home sign. So what I'm going to do is delete this rectangle here by clicking on it and then hitting my delete button. I'm going to change my project size to what that project size is. So I'm going to my job setup. We're going to go 24 wide by 16 tall, and this was 3/4 of an inch thick, 0.75. And we are set to the top of the project. XYZ datum position is in the middle. Click OK. And now we're going to create a new rectangle. And this rectangle is going to be just shy of the material size, which was 24 by 16. So I'm going to make it 22 by 14 and click create. And there is a rectangle. Now, one of the things I want to point out to you is on this one, on the Home Sweet Home sign, it's got the inside radius. So I don't want to have corners and then I have to come in and radius that. So we're going to take advantage of the fillet feature that has the internal radiuses on the rectangle. And this is another cool thing that you're going to learn here, where you can edit a rectangle that you already drew. You don't have to redraw it. You can just go back into it and edit that rectangle, but you have to do it by having the rectangle selected. So I've selected that. Now we can go back into the rectangle feature under create vectors, and that rectangle is now being edited. It doesn't show anything on the main screen, but when I go to radius internal, watch what happens with the rectangle. I click that and you see these green dots that show up on the four corners. That means that we are now going to radius the corners, and we have a radius of 1. And I'm going to leave it like that. Watch what happens when I click apply. And now we have our internal radius. Very quick, very simple to get that type of shape. And even that shape alone is a very nice shape. But we're going to go on and add all the little rounded areas in it. Super fast and easy. So we're going to close this, and I am going to you can do this in two different ways. First of all, one is we can go back into the arc tool under create vectors, click that, and we're going to put the little arc right here and right there on the bottom. We're going to put another one in here, and the way you do that is simply by selecting somewhere in here, just about like that, and then we come down like that, and now we have that basic arc. And all I have to do is grab my scissors and trim it, and it'll create the shape. Now I'm going to do that. We're not done yet to create the shape. I just want to show you how that actually starts to come into play. And it's very cool. But we're going to close that and click Control Z and undo that, because I want to show you this other way of doing it. If you don't have the arc tool, you can always grab a circle under create vectors and simply do basically the same thing. I'm making a circle here, and I'm going to close that circle command, and then I'm going to drag the circle up until it actually kind of crosses over like that. And now I can grab the scissors again and cut that and cut that circle, and we basically have done the same thing. I'm going to close that, hit Control Z, Control Z, Control Z, Control Z until I don't have that circle anymore. We're just going to go with this arc right here. Now, I need to get this radius here, 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 and here. So the other thing we need to do is get that rounded top, and we're going to put radiuses all the way around this thing so everything flows really smoothly. So the first thing I want to do is get the arcs here, 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 and here. So we're just going to take advantage of the mirror function. And what the mirror function allows us to do is simply take a shape that we've done on one side of the project and do the exact shape over here simply by mirroring it. And then we'll do it from top to bottom. We have this selected, and I'm going to hit Control, Shift, and H. And what that's going to do is that's going to allow me to mirror horizontally across the center of the job. So when I hit Control, Shift, and H, there is that arc on the other side, exactly as it is, exactly mirrored. Now I want to do the same arc down below on the bottom of the rectangle. So I'm going to do the same thing, Control, Shift, but I'm going to hit the letter V instead. And now we have the arc on the bottom. Now we got to get our little arcs on the side. So simply going to go back up to the arc tool, and I'm going to click it about right here. And how am I going to know exactly where this point is if it was exactly mirrored across this line here? I don't know where it's at. So I'm going to show you another little tool to get that centered up. So we're simply going to come here, and I'm just going to create a nice gentle arc going inward, and then hit Escape. So now if you can see it, this little dot right here is not centered, which is telling me the arc is not centered. So it's really quick and easy. We're going to come over to Transform Objects to this little button right here, Align Selected Objects. Click that, and right up at the top, I'm going to click this button right here. And what that's telling me is it's going to align the arc based on the center of the material. The rectangle has been based on the center of the material, so I need the arc to be based on the center of the material. So you can see this little dot. When I click that button, the dot will move down to center, which tells me now the arc is on center. And now select this guy right there, hit Control, Shift, H. That's on the other side now of the project right there. Now we can come back in and trim everything out. So trim there, 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 and there. And that, my friend, is really quick, but we're not done. We have a little bit of more softening of this project, get just everything nice and rounded instead of having sharp corners, which we still do when we want a nice flowing organic shape. So you can see in the top corner here, we got corners there, that's a corner. Everywhere that arc has touched is actually a corner. So we're going to close this and go back into the radius tool, or the fillet tool under Edit Objects, change that radius to 0.25, and simply come all the way around. We're going to click each corner. You can see right, oops, Control Z, that did not go right. There we go. I'm not sure why Vectric just did that, where it straightened out that line. So we got that. You can almost not see it. So we're going to come right into that corner. I'm going to click that radius, and you can see that one popped in. And we're going to go all the way around and take care of that. So now we've done all our radiuses, and even though we almost couldn't see the corners in here, it still softens the whole thing down. And with that, my friend, we have done organic shapes very, very quickly. There are lots of different things you can do. Here's another quick one I'm going to do real quick for you. We got this marble maze that I made here, and you can see it's rounded as well. It's a square, rectangle, and it's got a nice rounded area here, and a nice rounded here, and this flat here, and super simple shape. Same technique, but I'm going to draw it real quick just to show you. You can come back in here, we're going to close that, and I'm simply going to make a square. Let's get rid of this guy. I'm going to make a rectangle, and we're going to turn it into a square. So we'll just make this square 12 by 12. And click Create. And now we've got these internal radiuses. How do I fix that? Well, I can hit Control Z and come back up and click the corner type square, and then click Create, just like that. And then we are going to close that. Now on the top of that, I'm going to use the arc tool again. We're simply going to click one corner to the other corner. I'm going to raise it up just a little bit like that, and then I'm going to hit Control Shift V, and now we have created the other side. I'm going to close that, hit escape, and then we're going to get our trim tool, and I'm going to cut these guys, and then we're going to come in here and use the fillet tool, and I'm going to change that to 1 inch. It's a 1 inch radius, just like that. Hit each corner, and voila. Now I'm just going to rotate this. I'll show you another little quick tool. We're going to select that and hit the letter R, and I am going to grab this blue bead right here. I'm going to rotate it a little bit, and I'm going to type in 90 while I'm holding my left mouse button down and hit enter, and there it is. Or I'm going to hit Control Z. I'm going to close the rotate button or function, and while that is selected, I'm going to hit the number 9, and you can see it rotated 45 degrees. I'll hit 9 again. It rotated 45 degrees, and now we just created another little organic shape for this marble maze. And this marble maze, by the way, is also available to you for free, just like this guy right here. If you want them, I will link them down below in the description of this video. Well, there you have it, my friend. I've shown you 3 projects, very basic shapes, and we've just augmented it a little bit to make it look very unique and a little extra special, give it some more flair. If you found this video useful, then give me a thumbs up. I would love to know what you got out of this video by leaving a comment down below, or if you have any questions, leave that down below in the comments too, and I will probably shoot a video on it. And if I do, I will give you a shout out. Hey, drop by idcwoodcraft.com for your CNC router bits to carve out your amazing CNC projects, and I will see you in the next video. idcwoodcraft.com